Welcome back to the garden, and we are into the building a grid part 4. And if you remember, we're building the grid of compassion. And when last we spoke, the center stone was going to be chrysocolla, and we're going to put a little white dot of a cabochon of rose quartz in the middle to be the center. And when I started working with it, that kind of worked. Chrysocolla was okay, but it was darker than what I wanted. What I wanted was blue. You may not, I know everybody's screen's a little different, but that's blue. What I really wanted was blue, and I wanted like lapis lazuli and sodalite blue, the dark communication throat blue, because part of the frequency of compassion is the ability to stand up for others without judgment, as a divine mediator between the earth and the heaven, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow through the source of all from our heart and out into the world. And so it's a real communication sort of a vibe on this. And I wanted stronger communication. So people put in their votes, and most people want the chrysocolla. They liked the little dot in the middle. They liked the prehnite, I think it's Prehnite, prehnite maybe. I know I should go to Google and how do you say this word? Anyway, it's more important that I can spell it and find it than I can say it. And I put it around, and then I put the very nice green aventurine around it, and it looked very dull. And when I put all the pieces together that we'd kind of looked at, or I kind of pulled out for us to look at, select, it was dull. It didn't jump at you. It didn't vibrate. I knew I hadn't found the right combination of stones yet. But so what I ended up coming up with is quite, I looked at the card very closely, and you'll see on these edges, there's a burst out of energy. It's like all this is circling and then energy is moving out. And that's the combining that's bringing the energy and moving the energy out. And so I wanted to find some way to express that energy, and I hadn't put that in the original build. So I kind of went back to the drawing board, except I really agreed with everyone. No matter how I laid it out, the green aventurine came out great. But this is the final grid that we came up with. Those stones out of the way. And what's in the center here, you can see it. It's called, and it's really one of the things I want to show you for center, but I didn't think I had any left. It's Smoky Citrine. I had a whole bag of tumbled Smoky Citrine. It's a beautiful stone. It's clear, but it's smoky. It's literally like smoke that's been captured in a clear rock form. Then I put sodalite here and sodalite in these places. And sodalite is used a lot. It's done a lot with lapis lazuli. It has a lot to do with communications, kind communications, helping you communicate, getting the word out. It's the blue throat chakra. It's actually a stone that's going to be in the middle of my throat chakra egg. That or lapis will be there. Then this is your green aventurine that you picked. Then I liked the green, the light green calcite, and it's almost translucent. Some of it, as you can see, it's very, very shiny. It's a very quartzy looking stone. Hate to tell you guys, but most stones are kind of a quartz sort of mix. It's a beautiful thing. It forms itself into natural little cubes at times. It's very rectilinear. I thought that was really important for the kind of communication that this person is doing. They're doing it between the heavens and the earth. And I always think of the tumbled stones as more the round, earthy sort of stones. So that's your green aventurine. And then I ended up putting in 4 pieces of fire quartz. And fire quartz is a beautiful translucent quartz that has streaks of red. That's iron going through it, but it makes it, some of them actually almost look like they're on fire. And then I emphasized the element of communication and bringing together thoughts and ideas with the sodalite, or this could have been lapis, it could have been sodalite. So that's kind of how the grid ended up after all that work. But I did listen to everybody, and when I laid the things out, prehnite won, but this is so much lighter, and it makes it glow more for me, and it makes it look more like the glowy lighter stones in the center and the darker stones on the outside. So that's Alma's grid. That's Alma's grid built. And one of the things I said I was going to talk to you about is I'm going to, for the people who did comment before I finished the grid, I kept your names aside. I will be contacting one of you, and I'm going to give you a very special, one-of-a-kind offer. You're going to get the first original Woo Woo Crew coffee mug. I used to work in broadcasting, guys. I used to give away gifts and things that when I was in public broadcasting. I was in public broadcasting right after Sesame Street had started, and we were giving away Muppets, and they were the big Muppets, And we were giving away Muppets as a Christmas premium. If people joined at certain levels, they got Muppets. It ended up in the state of Texas, we were the last place that had any Muppets left. They were sold out all over the state. This was in the 70s. And I had people offering me $400 and $500 for one of the Muppets. I mean, literally, nice middle-class people coming like they were drug dealers. I'll give you $500 for Alma. And I'm like, what? And I didn't do it because we were not, that's like stealing. And that's not a nice thing to do. It's bad karma. That's the things I went through that finally drove me to building grids, guys. What we're going to work on next is I'm going to show you how to just take some tumbled stones and working with the elements of color that's in the chakras, which is another show I did that you can go back down and it'll say chakra colors. Tumbled stones are a gentler, kinder sort of energy. And so if you want, like you'll notice in this, the citrines are very sharp-edged and shiny. The tumbled stones are, while they're bright and they're pretty, they're a much gentler energy. If you could feel the stones, you'd feel that they're that kind of energy. I'm going to build a small grid out of stones. Now, if one of you has like a topic you'd like the grid built towards, that would be great. I have lots of colors of all the stones. I got 2 beautiful bags of tumbled, just all kinds of agates. There's a piece I noticed in there. There's a piece of fired quartz. There's a lot of different things in there that we can work with. So if you guys have any ideas of sort of a grid you'd like to see built, maybe thinking in terms of stuff I have at home. I get that a lot from people. How can I take my stones? How do I know if they're going to be happy together? How if I know they're going to be friends? The best way for you to deal with that is really to hold them and see if they feel like they get along. It's just like once I laid this out, the green adventuring, so I can't explain it to you, I mean, in words that maybe seem rational, but they seem to so be overwhelmed by the calcite seemed to, well, the prehnite was so overwhelmed by the green adventuring that it seemed off balance. And this just seems balanced. And with the clear center and then the blue stones emphasizing all the way out, communication throughout, dealing throughout, explaining, bringing together ideas throughout, that just seemed really, really positive. So once again, that's Alma's grid. And if you're interested in a grid, Truth in Lending, there was supposed to be a store site on my website, and I saw it up yesterday, and it looked like it was working, and somehow the digital gods have eaten my digital store. So until I can get back with my admin who does these things, I don't know how to fix it. I deal with the archangels and gods. I'll talk to fairies. I'll talk to sprites. I'll talk to elves. I'll talk to all the other little critters, that energy forces that live in our world. But when it goes inside a computer, it is lost to me. That's why I gave birth to children who are very good with them, because they know how to deal with those guys. And I will have someone deal with that. But until we have the digital gods properly fed and in the right order, I'm going to have to ask you to email me below at crystaldirections.nancyjean@gmail.com. And I will be glad to guide you through the process, send you the price list, and get all that set up. I tend to read on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. This week I've kind of had off building lots and lots of pretty grids. I'll show you another pretty grid I built this week. I think this is really one of the prettiest grids I've ever built, and it's called Alchemy. And yes, it's bigger than my other grids, but it's bigger on the card, and I couldn't figure another way around it. So it's a very, very, very pretty grid. And if you watched my show night before last, remember I had those picture jaspers, and I said I had an idea where I was going to use them. And that was that pretty piece of rhodochrosite from Argentina that I talked about. This also has fire quartz on it. But the thing with this grid is I had to go to the rock shop and find yellow stones because I don't work that much with the color yellow. And I found this wonderful bumblebee jasper, these pieces, these 6 pieces of bumblebee jasper. And, and then it has yellow tumbled citrine, small yellow tumbled citrines all around the edge. And the stuff in the middle, the chunky looking yellow stuff, is yellow calcite. And this is the card of alchemy. And I think I caught the essence of the feeling of the energies jumping out at you and being supported by the color gold. Gold, which is the solar plexus chakra. And it is the one that's like just above your navel, below your rib cage. And I always think the best way to think about it is like a little solar generator. It's like a little universe spinning out power and helping us get stronger. Okay, that's kind of what I'm going to do this week. I'm really kind of wiped out. I had 2, I called them children, but if you saw them, you'd say freestanding 6'6" adult. I got the COVID shots, and they were so grateful when I got them because I'm older than they are. I'm their mother, but they were really glad when I got it, so they didn't feel like they were bringing home something hideous that was going to eat me. But then both of them have risk factors that put them in line to get the shots, and so they got their first shot 3 weeks ago. They got their second shot this week. I got the COVID shot, and I'll tell you, the first shot, the only reason I knew I had a shot is because I had to take a Band-Aid off my arm the next day. Then everybody said the second shot's a little bit worse. It was a little bit worse. That arm was stiff the next day and had a little bit of a stiff neck, and I could feel something was going on with my lymph nodes. And other than that, I had no fever, no exhaustion, none of that stuff. Both my kids had a reaction to the first shot that their arms got stiff, but they type at keyboards and work with computers and move mouses and things all day. So I think that may have been a difference. The other thing I did is a military friend said when you get intramuscular shots to do 5 push-ups every hour for the first few hours after you've had the shot and work those muscles. So that's what I did. I did push-ups, 5 push-ups off the wall. I do not do push-ups from the floor. Never could do them even when I was a kid, but it worked. I think that helped. But anyway, their second shot just wiped both of them out. My son in essence had the flu. He doesn't run fevers. He ran a fever. This is not to dissuade anyone from getting the shot, because both of them said to me, if this is a sample of what this disease is like when it's just if this is just a taste of it, they don't want the full meal. So you might get a little taste of it, but you're not going to get the full meal. I'm so happy that we are now a COVID sort of protected household. I pray for everyone every night. I light candles about this thing all the time. It was a year ago that I walked away from being out in the real world. Yesterday I had to go out and I drove in the rain, and that was it's weird when you don't drive or do something like that for a long time and then you go out and you do it. It's like weird. I mean, it's not just that I'm older, it's also that it's weird. And I went in a real store. I had to stop at the craft store and pick up the right kind of glue to finish fixing my grids. And it was so odd. And I realized what I have not missed about stores is nothing's clearly marked and you wander up and down all kinds of aisles full of crap you don't need. And it was just interesting to be in the store. I used to really like going in craft stores and digging through all the stuff and saying, ooh, what could I do with that? Now it's just mission impossible. Go find that glue. And actually, I got the last tube of glue that they had It's appropriate for what I do. So that's kind of it. Um, I I'm sending out 13 grids tomorrow. If when we're finishing payments right now, they're going to get their grids. I have about 7 people, 8 people built up, and I'm going to be reading all next week. And by the end of next week, I will be back up to my 10 to 13 that I try to build all at once. Because once I get in the zone of working with the rocks, it's much easier for me to build. And I'm really sorry to the people who are getting their grids now. They should have had these grids 2 weeks ago. But because of the ice storm and other things, I had no frames. And I could have sent them a bag of rocks. I'm not sure it would have done them a world of good. They prefer them arranged. Let's see what other ones I have. I mean, I have them all here so I can show them. And I'm proud of this group of ones I did. This one, oh, this is a pretty one. It's called Magic. And I've built this grid before. But each time I build them, I look at what that person had going on. I do a reading before, and each grid, even if I've built it before, is an individual grid unto itself. And then this one is realization. And that's to draw things from potentiality into realizing it into the world. And actually, this is upright realization. And trust me, which colors are on top and bottom and how they're ringed out make a great deal of difference. And this has got one of my favorite new stones, crocodile jasper. It's a beautiful stone when you can see it in real life. It's not real pretty on the screen. So to the ladies and the gentlemen who have been waiting so patiently, it's on its way. I'm getting it done. I promise, I promise. And for anybody who might want a grid, by the way, don't call me up and say, I want an alchemy grid. This grid was chosen by a method I have of laying out the activation cards. The universe helped this woman choose this. You get what you get, and you get what you need. I had someone who got Earth, and the day she got the grid, she realized that her life had come down to having to make some very important decisions that were very earthbound choices. So you get what the universe knows better for us than we do. And so with that, I will close this off. Enough of my infomercial. Like I said, for the next show, if you comment below this, I'm going to be working with just some tumbled stones. How do we just work with them? What do we do with it? I also have had a request to do Bloodstone, which I'm researching right now, so I get the full tilt boogie on all of the energy I can find about it. I had somebody who wants me to go over shapes of stones, carved stones, and things like that, like pyramids, obelisks, and all that stuff. Next time I do that, I'll have a clear example of each kind, and we can talk about the power and energy that comes off each one. And any other topic you want to know about. I know about numerology, kind of. I know about astrology, kind of. I know a whole lot about tarot. Want to know about tarot? I can talk about tarot all night. I can go back through my cards. I'm also trying to get together with some readers I went to when I was like you, just sitting in YouTube land. And I went around, and there's a couple readers I went to, and we're trying to work out a side-by-side for me to talk about why I chose them, how they were part of my journey, and for them to discuss their philosophy on tarot. And I think that would be kind of interesting maybe for you, because when you're a reader, you don't often go to other readers just because we don't. And I don't read my own cards. I just let my guides tell me where to go. And so they lead me to the next place I need to go. I'm also going to bring in, and I'm also setting up a reading side by side with an acupuncturist who I use to help me bring down my blood pressure so I could begin to think clearly and bring my body under control. I'm also trying to talk to a couple people I follow on YouTube that have to do about keto, so that you can hear about keto from a more, I've got a pretty educated perspective on what works for me, but keto is really a body hack of yourself. And you have to try all the different things and see what works. But some of these people make a lot more sense to me than others. And I have a show written up on tapping, which is EFT, emotional something touching. and it's tapping parts of your body and doing neuro-linguistic programming while you're doing it to make your body respond certain ways. So if any of those really light up your life, put them in the bottom, and I'll try to move those to the top of my list of things to do. And this is my son's birthday weekend, so I will probably be taking some time off Saturday and Sunday, but I will be back Monday. And I'm starting a new 9 candles on Monday. You will not see it on the screen, but I'm starting for myself because I'm building up some energy to go in some other directions, and I need all the help I can get. But I might do a really quick show on how to do 9 candles because a lot of people ask about it. There's 9 shows below here about doing 9 candles, and people ask me, how did you get to, I think I'm over 1,700 subscribers now, and that's since in December, late December. And people said, how did you do that? And I was sitting around 200, and I did the 9 candles, and I went to 1,000 in a week. So if you want to learn about prosperity and bringing good things in your life, 9 candles might be something to go take a look at. Or shortly, I'm going to be starting one on Monday. I'm starting my own 9 candles. I might tape it. I'm not sure. It's going to be done on a Zoom meeting with 2 other people, and I'll have to get their permission to do it. Also, I'm looking for one person who is willing to do, I think I can do it this way, but a side-by-side on past lives. And I have 2 methods I use to do past lives, and I'm going to be teaching a course for another reader on their Patreon channel. And it's just a 1-day thing on how to do past lives. And I'm looking for a person because I can't read to a nothing. I have to read to a person's energy. So if one of you would like to be my past life person, you need to be available on the 6th of March around noon Central Time. I think that's right. I'll let you know for sure. But I would say block out from 11 till 1 Central Time. And I will use your past life as past life I look at. I can't read my own cards. Can't do my own past lives. Much as I'm sure it would be fascinating for me to go back there, I'm sure I would be highly prejudiced as to what I saw. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. And please like, share, and if you have friends who are interested in the sort of stuff I'm talking about, encourage them to subscribe, because I'm doing pretty well, I guess, in YouTube land. I don't know, I'm not in it for the numbers, but I know that the more numbers I have, the more people like you that see me, the more that the word gets spread out there and the more that our community grows. So I look forward to hearing from you. I think I've given you a whole lot of homework. Remember tumbled grids. I'm going to look at how to build your own tumble with just tumbled stones, not spectacular, not going back to another image, just using the sacred geometry based on a question. I'm going to do shapes in grids and what the different shaped stones can mean and how to work with that. I'm looking for somebody to be part of my past life reading. And I'm going to pick one of you to get the woo-woo mug who was kind enough to comment and help me with Alma's grid. It really did help because I really looked at it and you made comments about what you saw. That really helped because I'm used to looking at this with my own eyes. And each of these takes me a bit of time to sort everything through and pick what I want to do with it. But I think you all should be very proud that this channel created this grid for Alma. And she's very grateful. She's already seen it. Can't wait to get it. Can't wait to get to work with it. And I look forward to seeing y'all in the garden probably Monday night. Have a good day. Bye.